Shalom, Minister of Salzburg, give no praise to Yahweh, but Hashem Yahushua, but Hashem Kadash. Double honors the apostle, great millstone, and honors to you brothers doing the work of the Most High in truth, then sincerity. Yahweh's raw name, of whom the world ignorantly calls God, Jehovah, or Yahweh. His raw name is Yahweh. The Son's true name is Yahweh Shai. And when we pray Yahweh, Bar Hashem, Yahushua, but meaning in, meaning that, and Sham, meaning names Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai. Real quick, this is this is the first day of the year, the year of a hopeful year of Jacob's trouble, right? And you're already coming into the year, and then the first day of the year, things have been happening, right? Which we pray that this is just the beginning of things to come, right? For instance, scriptures refer to the beginning of sorrows. Right, so this is the first one. Says, and to be fair, this guy's always talking, but you're having to see also the relationships that have been made over the past year. It's one of the comments that I saw in regards to this. It was like, yeah, Kim's always talking. However, like he did just come back, from Russia just the other day. So, and you've been seeing as well last year, they were doing a lot more tests, and have now themselves launched a spy satellite, right? So this very much goes under the what's the word I'm looking for? Wars and rumors of wars category, right? It says North Korean leader Kim Jong Un ordered his military to thoroughly annihilate the U.S. and South Korea if provoked. Right, state media reported Monday after he vowed to boost national defense to cope with what he called an unprecedented U.S.-led confrontation. And that's it, because the U.S. uh, is basically in this thing where they are what's the word I'm looking for? So like, bear with me. They're basically getting all of these different nations that used to be, whether it's Japan, whether it's Finland, right, that are quite neutral, and then basically dragging them into this war. Right, last year I remember them saying, I forget whether it was Japan or South Korea, but certainly I believe maybe even both. But I feel like I also remember South Korean president saying something to the effect of, we will have to, either develop our own nukes or host American nukes, right? I believe it was the Korean president, but basically America's trying to bring all of these nations into this war, right? It says Kim is expected to ramp up weapons tests in 2024 ahead of the U.S. presidential election in November, right? So they just basically linking it to the elections that are to come, right? Which that's all the way in November, and we hope that we hope things are different by then. Let's just put it like that. This is Matthew 24:6. Says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Okay, so this is just another rumor of war, right? And we're gonna have to see how all of these things play. Okay. And then so then the next one, right, and I'll read the following verse in a second, right, with something else, right. So this is 14 hours ago. So this is but I believe they started talking about this from yesterday. So basically, it says, UK from Sky News, UK considering airstrikes on Houthis to stop Red Sea attacks. So Britain is reportedly considering airstrikes on Houthi rebels after the U.S. Navy sank 3 boats that had been targeting a container ship in the Red Sea. Right, Defense Secretary Grant Shapps said the government would not hesitate to take direct action to prevent further attacks on shipping. Right, and it's all to do with this, just the ability to move, goods, right, in between, basically the world. Okay, now Yemen basically said, look, man, we only attacked, that crew because it was heading over. It was basically the destination was heading over to that part of land there, right? But what does that make me think of? Right, this is Jeremiah 49:20. Right, it says, therefore hear the counsel of Yahweh that he hath taken against Edom, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Timan. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. right? So when you look at the Houthis, one of the things that U.S. constantly says is they're backed by Iran and backed by Iran, right? Well, who is Iran backed by, right? And this is all that's Russia is the answer. Right, you can read about that in Ezekiel the 38th chapter. Okay, so we're at a point, all because them Amalekites are doing what they're doing. Right, you have all of the different people, right, in these nations, right, in these so-called Arab nations that are annoyed at what the hell is happening over there in Israel, right? And it only takes a miscalculation, right, for things to for the mood to change, right? And that's it. You have all of these elites that are trying to maintain that they're in control of what's going on, right? But really it's the Most High, right, that devises the steps, right? um this is Proverbs 16:9, right? It says, a man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord Yahweh directeth his steps. Okay, so here it is, you have the elites, right, that they may be thinking, oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna get this out of this situation, right? Scriptures talk about and the heart is deep. So they're patient, and they know how to basically what's the word I'm looking for, they basically know how to like Slovakia. They basically know how to get what they want, right? Order abkeo, right? Let's say that they know order abkeo, right? Yet the Most High ultimately is the one in control, right? All it takes, once again, is one, the Lord to put the spirit on one rogue general, right? To for things to change, and that's one of the things we hope, right? Ultimately, we understand we're just in the time of the Most High, right? Yeah, we hope that this is, as we do every single year, we hope that this is the year that we can get up out of here, right? However, that's why the scriptures also speak about patience, right? And being patient, because ultimately we work on the time scale of Yahweh Hashem Shai. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it on that. So once again, this is just one to continue watching, right? And those Amalekites, right? They, in their invasion, have basically brought these, this whole situation, right? And once again, we just hope that things continue heating up, right? And this is, from the morning. This is what I woke up to, right? It says from Sky News, a tsunami advisory issued as 7.6 magnitude earthquake hits Japan. Okay, 7.6. So that's a biggie, right? It was the strongest quake in the region in more than 40 years, 4 decades, according to the U.S. Geological Survey, and resulted in the first major tsunami warning since 2011, right? So we're just waiting to see, what the impact is of that. Um, yeah, so I mean, yeah, it says it was later downgraded to a regular tsunami warning, right? And then a tsunami advisory several hours later, right? So not too much happening, just a few broken houses and stuff, right? However, this is 40 years, right? First major one in 40 years, right? 4 decades, right? So this is once again, this is how we hope that the rest of the year continues, right? And even in the same day, right? This is earthquake from the Independent Earthquake shakes California with 4.1 magnitude tremor on New Year's Day, right? So 8:27 local time. So that would have been what, well, actually no, California is the other one. So what, maybe four, four o'clock our time or so. So this is just once again another great way to enter and welcome in the new year, right? So two earthquakes, one resulting in a tsunami, right? The usual saber rattling from Kim Jong Un, right? And the UK still trying to think that they're bigwigs, right, out here. I was remembering what one Chinese diplomat, I believe, was being interviewed, and he was like, the news anchor was like, oh, why is basically China trying to compete with the UK, or something to that effect. And the ambassador, the Chinese ambassador, was like, compete? You lot ain't even in the same, ain't even in the same ballpark, right? Last story gonna get right. This is PA Media. More big companies set to collapse in 2024. Industry experts warn. Okay, and once again, that's, I mean, when reading into basically how business rates work in the UK. So imagine, let's say, this shop's rent is like let's say just a nice round number, £1,000, right? Business rates will be like, from what I was reading, like 50% of what your rent is, right? So your business where you're having to pay like £500, right, on top, right? So obviously £1,000 is, that's quite small in the grand scheme of things, but in your much larger um retail property, retail real estate, right? That's going to be thousands of pounds you're having to pay in tax, right, just to have a shop front. So it's no wonder, right, that that we're seeing these numbers. So let's actually see that some of this, right? PwC's head of insolvency, David Kelly, said both the construction sector and business services industry each saw almost a fifth of total insolvencies, right? He said he therefore expects these areas to remain the hardest hit in 2024. Hospitality and retail have also contributed to business failures as they have been impacted by higher energy prices, pressures on consumer finances, and borrowing costs. Right, so basically a powder keg of um what's the word I'm looking for? A powder keg of basically the perfect situation, right? What does that lead us into, right? Perfect situation in terms of insolvencies, that is, right? Because if people ain't spending, but your energy prices are going up, then you got to put your prices up. But people who weren't already spending spend even less, right? So then you end up just going, you just going broke. All right, what was it said? This is Ecclesiastes 12 from verse 3. Right, it says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. Right, and why is the grinding going to cease? Because there are going to be less jobs. Okay, there are going to be less jobs out here. Right, and those that look out of the windows, still could be darkened. That's talking about these financial forecasters. Right, they're looking and like, oh shit, things ain't looking good. Right? And once again, that's why we're so hopeful about what's going to happen for the rest of the year, because the same things that these financial forecasters are seeing is the same things that we're seeing. We're like, yo, look, man, this doesn't look good, right? E-system looks like it's very much ready to crumble, not ready to rumble, it's ready to crumble. Okay, it says, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. And once again, you're seeing the doors of these shops closed, right? The high street is more quiet and more quiet, to the end that you're just gonna end up with the big box stores, right? It says, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low, right? So once again, just a few things that have already happened, right, at the beginning of this year, right? You know, the usual saber rattling, right? Wars, rumors of wars, right? Tsunami advisory, earthquakes. Oh, that's what I wanted to get. Verse 7 in Matthew 24, right? Matthew 24 and 7. It says, for the nation shall rise against nation, and kingdoms against kingdoms, right? And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places, right? So, and we literally see diverse places here. One in Japan, a rather major one in Japan, right? And another one in California, right? It says basically about an average of five earthquakes within this range occur per year in Greater Los Angeles. Okay, and that's it. Um, so once again, we're coming up to the times, right? It says verse 8 says, all these are the beginning of sorrows, right? So these are the beginning of sorrows, right? And once again, Lawsall, it just keeps healing up. So as always, Lawsall, that was edifying. Till next time we say, Shalom.